Welcome to your first SAP Business Technology Platform project. Today we will plan and set up your first BTP project. This means we will outline your goals and configure the platform to meet them. For example, if you are building a simple app to track office supplies, we will define its purpose and provision the necessary services. By the end, you will have a solid foundation to start developing. We will create a solid foundation for your solution. This means establishing core BTP services so your application runs reliably and scales. For example, setting up authentication and a cloud database before building a sales reporting tool. This groundwork ensures your project starts strong and remains stable as it grows. You will finish with a configured environment and clear plan. This means you will have a working SAP BTP setup and know exactly what to do next. For example, you might leave with a trial account ready for development and steps to build your first app. This foundation sets you up for immediate project progress. This preparation saves time and prevents mistakes later. By planning your project upfront, you avoid redoing work and costly errors. For example, mapping out integrations before coding prevents incompatible connections and data loss. A little planning now ensures your project runs smoothly from start to finish. Understanding your project requirements is essential. First, clearly define what your project needs to accomplish. This means writing down the specific business goals and problems your solution must address. For example, a project might need to automate manual invoice processing to reduce errors. Starting with this clarity ensures every subsequent technical decision supports a real business outcome. Identify the business problems you are solving. This means clearly defining the core issue before any technical solution. For example, a business problem might be that sales reports are always late, causing missed opportunities. By focusing on this problem, you ensure your SAP BTP project delivers timely insights. Always start with the business challenge to guide your entire project. List the key features and functions required. This means identifying the specific capabilities your solution must have to solve the business problem. For example, if building a travel app, key functions could be booking flights, managing itineraries, and sending notifications. Defining these details upfront ensures your SAP BTP project is built on a clear and solid foundation. Document any specific technical constraints. This means writing down all technology limits your project must follow, like software versions or security rules. For example, your company might require using only SAP HANA Cloud databases. Knowing these early prevents rework and ensures your solution fits within the required boundaries. Setting up your Business Technology Platform trial account. Go to the SAP BTP trial website. This is your starting point, the official page where you can sign up for free access. For example, a developer exploring a new app idea would begin here to get their personal trial environment. This first step unlocks all the tools you will need to build and learn. Click Start your free trial. This is the initial button to activate your personal, time-limited testing environment. For instance, a developer wanting to explore the platform would click here to gain instant access. This single action is your gateway to all trial services and hands-on learning. Follow the registration steps. This means completing the sign-up process on the SAP BTP website. For instance, you will enter your email, verify it, and choose a region for your trial. This simple setup gives you immediate access to a live, pre-configured environment to start learning. Verify your email address. This means confirming ownership by clicking a link sent to your inbox. For example, when you sign up for a new service, you must click a verification email before accessing features. This simple step ensures your account is secure and fully activated. Access your new trial account. This means logging into the SAP BTP cockpit for the first time after activation. For example, a developer would use this to immediately begin building a small application. This initial access is your first step to exploring all available services. Navigating the Business Technology Platform cockpit. The cockpit is your main control center. It is the single web-based interface where you manage all your BTP services and applications in one place. For example, developers use it to create instances, assign roles, and monitor usage. This centralized access streamlines how you oversee your entire cloud environment. Find the Global Account Overview page. This is your central dashboard showing all resources and services in your account. For instance, if you manage multiple development projects, this page displays each project's status and usage. Mastering this view ensures you always have a clear picture of your cloud environment. Locate the sub-accounts section. This means finding the area in the cockpit where you manage your individual project environments. For example, a developer would go here to find their development sub-account to deploy an application. Mastering this is your first step to organizing all your BTP resources effectively. Notice the Services Catalog area. This is where all available BTP services are listed, like a digital menu. For example, if you need a database service, you'd browse here to find and enable it. This central listing makes discovering and accessing the tools you need straightforward. Bookmark this page for easy access. This means saving the BTP cockpit in your browser so you can return quickly without searching. For example, if you manage cloud applications daily, bookmarking saves time over typing the URL each visit. Make this a habit to streamline your regular BTP tasks efficiently. Creating your first SAP BTP sub-account. From your global account, click Create Sub-Account. This means you start at your main BTP container and initiate a new, separate environment. For example, a company might create a sub-account to develop a new HR application in isolation. This simple step sets up your dedicated space for projects and services. Give it a clear name like development. This means choosing a descriptive name that immediately tells you its purpose. For instance, if you are building a sales app, name it Sales App Dev so your team knows it is for development work. This simple step prevents confusion and helps organize your projects effectively. Select the trial region. This means choosing the specific geographic data center where your trial account will be hosted. For instance, if you are in Europe, you might pick the Frankfurt region for lower latency. This initial choice ensures your trial resources are deployed in the most suitable location for performance. Choose the trial environment type. This means selecting the free testing version of SAP BTP, to explore its features without cost. For example, a developer might pick the trial to build a sample app for learning purposes. This initial selection is crucial for starting your hands-on experience. Click Create to finish. This means you are confirming all your sub-account settings and launching its setup. For instance, after entering your sub-account name and selecting the region, you finalize the process by clicking this button. This action officially establishes your new environment in the cloud. Planning your environment structure. Create separate sub-accounts for different purposes. This means dividing your environment into distinct areas for specific tasks like development, testing, and production. For example, use one sub-account for developing a new app and another for running the final live version. This separation ensures cleaner management and reduces risks between environments. Development for building and testing. This is your dedicated workspace where developers create new applications and features, then thoroughly test them before they go live. For example, here you would build a new employee onboarding app and test it with sample data. This controlled environment ensures quality and stability before any changes affect users. Testing for quality checks. This means verifying your setup works correctly before going live. For instance, after configuring a development space, you would deploy a test application to ensure it runs without errors. This step confirms everything is functioning as expected for a stable environment. Production for final solution. This is the live production environment where your actual business application runs for end users. For example, a retail company uses their production environment to process real customer orders daily. This environment must be stable and reliable, as it directly supports your business operations. This keeps your work organized. It means grouping your applications and data logically so you can easily find and manage them. For instance, keep development projects separate from production systems. This structure helps prevent confusion and errors, ensuring a smoother workflow. Maintaining this organization is key for efficient project management. Identifying required BTP services. Review your project requirements list. This means systematically checking all documented needs against available BTP services. For example, if your project needs mobile user authentication, you would identify the SAP mobile services. This initial review ensures you select the correct foundational services for your solution. Match each requirement to available BTP services. This means connecting your specific business needs to the right BTP capabilities. For example, if you need to analyze sales data, you would select the SAP Analytics Cloud service. This direct alignment ensures you build effective solutions without unnecessary complexity. Note which services work together. This means understanding how different BTP components connect to build complete solutions. For example, the SAP HANA Cloud Database service often works with the SAP Build Apps service to store and display business data for a custom application. Recognizing these connections is essential for effective solution design. Start with essential services first. This means selecting core BTP services that form the foundation of your application before adding advanced features. For example, when building an app, begin with the SAP HANA Cloud Database for data storage before integrating AI services. This foundational approach ensures a stable and scalable solution from the outset. You can add more services later. This means your initial BTP setup isn't final. Begin with core services, then integrate others as new needs arise. For example, start with the SAP Build Apps service and later add the SAP HANA Cloud service for a new database requirement. This flexible approach allows your solution to evolve with your business. Exploring the service marketplace. In your sub-account, click Service Marketplace. This means you access the central catalog of available services within your SAP BTP environment. For instance, to add a database, you'd go there to find and enable the SAP HANA service. This action is your starting point for provisioning any new service you need. Browse available services by category. This means you can explore services grouped by their purpose, like database or analytics tools. For instance, if you need machine learning capabilities, you'd look under the AI category to find relevant services. This organization helps you quickly locate what you need for your projects. Read service descriptions and capabilities. This means reviewing the details of each service to understand what it does and its technical features. For example, before using the SAP HANA Cloud Database service, check if it supports the in-memory computing your analytics app requires. This step ensures you select the right tools for your project's needs. Note which services are included in trial. This means identifying the free services available to you in the trial landscape. For instance, you can test the SAP Build Apps service for low-code development at no cost. This focus helps you plan your hands-on exploration without encountering access restrictions. Bookmark services you will need. This means you can save your frequently used services in the marketplace for quick access. For instance, if you regularly use the SAP HANA Cloud Database, you can bookmark it. This creates a personalized list, saving you from searching every time. Streamlining your workflow starts with this simple organization step. Creating your project timeline. Break your project into phases. This means dividing the entire project into smaller, sequential stages like planning, building, and launching. For example, first plan your app's features, then build the core functions, and finally test and deploy it. This approach makes a large project manageable and ensures each step is completed before moving forward. Set realistic deadlines for each phase. This means assigning achievable timeframes for development, testing, and launch, avoiding overly optimistic estimates. For example, if integrating a payment system, allocate sufficient time for security checks and partner coordination. This careful planning keeps your project on track and reduces stress for the entire team. Include time for testing and adjustments. This means your plan must reserve dedicated slots to check your work and make fixes. For example, after building an app, you need days to ensure it connects correctly to data and works for users. A realistic schedule always accounts for this crucial validation phase. Plan for learning and exploration. This means intentionally scheduling time to understand new services and experiment, not just for building. For instance, block out 2 hours this week to trial the SAP Build Apps drag-and-drop interface for a simple mobile form. This dedicated time prevents rushed decisions later. Keep some buffer time for unexpected issues. This means planning extra time in your schedule for surprises that could cause delays. For example, if a team member gets sick, your buffer allows the project to stay on track without rushing. This simple step ensures your timeline remains realistic and manageable, reducing stress for everyone involved. Defining clear milestones for project success. Environment setup completion. This means all necessary accounts, tools, and connections are ready for development. For example, your team has created the BTP sub-account, installed the Business Application Studio, and securely linked it to your SAP ERP system. Achieving this foundational milestone allows developers to immediately begin building solutions. Core services configured. This means the foundational technical services in SAP BTP are set up and ready. For example, you have activated the Cloud Foundry runtime and connected your account to your development tools. This critical step provides the platform for building and running applications. First prototype working. This means you have a basic, functional version of your application. For instance, a simple app that can successfully create and display a customer record in a test environment. Achieving this initial milestone proves your core concept is viable and builds momentum. Testing phase completed. This means all planned checks on the new system's functionality, performance, and security have been successfully finished. For example, confirming that a new employee can be successfully onboarded through the integrated application. This milestone gives the team confidence to proceed to the final go-live. Final solution delivered means the project is complete and fully functional. For example, after developing and testing a mobile app for sales teams, it is deployed with training and support. This milestone confirms the business can start using the solution to achieve its goals, marking the end of the implementation phase. Each milestone marks important progress. This means breaking your project into clear, achievable steps where completion shows tangible advancement. For example, successfully integrating your first SAP S/4HANA system with BTP is a milestone confirming core connectivity is established. This structured approach ensures you consistently move forward toward your final goal. Planning service dependencies for enterprise architecture. Some services need other services to work. This means certain capabilities are built upon others and cannot function in isolation. For instance, the SAP HANA Cloud Database service is often required by the SAP Analytics Cloud Service to store and process the data it analyzes. Therefore, identifying these relationships is a critical first step in your architecture planning. Identify which services must be set up first. This means determining the order of service activation, as some services rely on others to function properly. For example, before configuring SAP HANA Cloud, you must first establish the Cloud Foundry environment it runs within. Following this sequence prevents errors and ensures a smooth deployment process. Note integration points between services. This means identifying where two services must connect to exchange data or trigger actions. For example, an application on BTP might need to fetch customer data directly from the SAP S/4HANA system. Planning these connections early ensures your solution works as one cohesive unit. Plan the order of service activation. This means identifying which BTP services must be enabled first because other services rely on them. For example, you must activate the SAP HANA Cloud Service before you can successfully set up the SAP Analytics Cloud Service, which depends on it. This careful sequencing ensures all integrations work correctly from the start. Document these relationships clearly. This means creating a simple map showing which services rely on others to function. For instance, if your application uses the SAP HANA Cloud Database, you must note that the app depends on this database service being active. This clarity prevents unexpected failures and ensures smooth operations. Reviewing your project plan. Check that all requirements are covered. This means verifying your plan addresses every business and technical need from start to finish. For example, if a requirement is to notify managers via email, ensure your plan includes the notification service, its configuration, and the development task. A thorough review now prevents critical gaps later. Verify your environment structure makes sense. This means checking that your development, test, and production environments are logically separated and connected correctly for a smooth workflow. For example, developers work in a dev space, testers use a test space, and the final app runs in a stable prod space. A clear structure prevents errors and simplifies your entire project lifecycle. Confirm service selections match needs. This means verifying that the SAP BTP services you have chosen actually solve your business problems. For example, if you need to send automated emails, ensure you have selected the SAP Cloud Integration Service, not just a database. Aligning your tools with your goals from the start prevents costly rework later. Ensure timeline is realistic. This means checking that your project schedule accounts for all tasks and potential delays. For example, if you are developing a mobile app, do not schedule 2 weeks for coding if testing and deployment also need time within that period. A well-planned timeline prevents rushed work and ensures quality outcomes. Make adjustments as needed. This means you should review your project plan and modify it if requirements change or issues arise. For example, if a key team member leaves, reassign their tasks and update timelines. Staying flexible ensures your project stays on track and adapts to new circumstances. Ready to start building on SAP Business Technology Platform. You now have a clear project plan. This means you know exactly what to build, the steps to take, and when to do them. For example, your plan might be to create a mobile app for tracking deliveries by next month. With this roadmap, you can confidently begin your development work on SAP BTP. Your BTP environment is ready. This means your foundational cloud workspace, with its tools and services, is set up and waiting. For example, you can now immediately begin developing a mobile app that connects to your SAP system. Everything is prepared for you to create your first solution. You know which services you need. This means you have already identified the specific BTP tools required for your project, like databases or analytics. For example, to build a sales dashboard, you might select the SAP HANA Cloud Database and Analytics Cloud Service. This clear selection ensures you can immediately begin development efficiently. You have defined milestones to track progress. This means you have set specific checkpoints to measure how your project is advancing. For example, a milestone could be completing user authentication setup by a certain date. This approach ensures you stay on course and can celebrate small wins along the way. Great job on setting up your foundation. This means your SAP BTP environment is ready, like preparing a construction site before building. For example, you have created your global account and sub-account just as a builder secures land and permits. Now, you can confidently begin developing your applications on this solid base.